It's another very interesting time. Leo tuanze kipengele cha salts, acid bases and salts. Tuanze discussion ya salts na tuone different concept regarding salts ambazo tuzidiscuss hapo. Tuone what is the salt. Salt ni kitu gani? Salt ni kitu gani? When the word salt is mentioned, what comes in mind is the common salt or table salt. When you are talking of the common salt, or sometimes we call it the table salt. Table salt, it is sodium chloride, sodium chloride, NaCl. This is the normal salt, or this is the table salt we normally use in the kitchen. The common salt is actually sodium chloride. However, salt is the broader meaning. Ni broader meaning. Chumvi sio ile tu ambayo tunatumia kuongea vyakula, mboga na nini. Chumvi ni broad terminology. Now what is the salt? A salt is a compound formed when hydrogen ion of an acid, when hydrogen ion of an acid is replaced by a metal, is replaced directly or indirectly by a metal or ammonium ion, by a metal or an ammonium ion. What is important for you to note here ni kwamba salt inatengenezwa ikiwa hydrogen ya acid imekuwa replaced by metal or ammonium ion. Remember, we said neutralization reaction is an example of the double displacement reaction. That's one of the reaction ambayo inapelekea salt itengenezwe. It's an example of the double displacement reaction in which the hydrogen ion is replaced by a metal from base, and then the metal which comes from base, it's replaced by hydrogen. So tuna salt za aina nyingi. Kwa mfano katika sea water, kwenye maji ya baharini na katika miamba, tuna salts kama sodium sulfate. Katika maji ya baharini tuna salts kama sodium sulfate, tuna calcium sulfate. Katika maji ya baharini tuna salts kama magnesium sulfate, tuna salts kama calcium carbonate. Hizo zote ni salts mbalimbali ambazo ziko katika mazingira ambayo ni natural. And even the lab we use these salts in different purposes. Unaona, tunatumia salt katika purpose mbalimbali. Lab ziko salts kama hizi pia. Unaona, kuna marble chips ambao marble chips, ukiambia marble chips lab, maana yake ni calcium carbonate. Marble chips ni calcium carbonate. Alafu tuna zinc chloride, ni baadhi ya common salts in the lab. Zinc chloride, zinc sulfate. Unaona, zinc sulfate, hizi ni baadhi ya common salts which we use in the lab. Now, salts can be prepared by several methods. Unaona, can be prepared by several methods. Tuisema, if we have, let's say, HCl, and then if this will be replaced by a metal or ammonium ion, then the resulting compound will be a salt. If we have, let's say, H2SO4, or if we have HNO3, these are the best examples of the mineral acids we have in the lab. Kwa hiyo, if this hydrogen will be replaced by a metal, then the compound formed will be a salt. Now, tuone methods of preparation of salts. Methods of preparation of salts. Preparation of salts. Tuna njia nyingi za kuprepare salts, lakini inategemea kama hiyo salt tunayotengeneza ni soluble au insoluble. Tukisema soluble manake ni salt ambayo inaweza kuyeyuka kwenye maji. Insoluble haiyeyuki kwenye maji. Now, the methods used would depend on whether the salt required is soluble or insoluble. Now, tuanze na preparation of soluble salts. Soluble salt. Preparation of soluble salts. Soluble salts can be prepared by reacting acids. We are reacting acids with metals, acids with metals, alkalis, insoluble bases, or carbonates. Hapa ni njia nne tofauti zimetajwa: reaction of acids with metal, alkali, insoluble base au carbonate. Kwa hiyo tukianza, let's say number 1, reaction of acids with metals. Reaction of acids with metals. This method is suitable for preparing sorts of fairly reactive metals like zinc, magnesium and iron. Inatumika kuprepare salts za zinc, magnesium pamoja na iron. These we group them with the fairly reactive metals. Fairly reactive metals, yani zenyewe sio, they are not most reactive and they are not least reactive, so they are fairly, they are in between. Metal plus acid, we get salt plus hydrogen. The best example is in the preparation of hydrogen gas, when we have a zinc plus HCl, we get zinc chloride plus hydrogen gas. Zinc chloride is the salt formed which is aqueous, being soluble. That the example, na tumesema hapo kwamba hiyo inaweza kutumika to prepare the sorts of metals like zinc, magnesium and iron. In this reaction we can use two things. We can use two things in this reaction. We can either use the zinc powder, If we use zinc powder, we expect this reaction to be fast, kama ambavyo tutasoma katika chemical kinetics, unaona, and equilibrium. If we use zinc powder, the reaction will be fast, unaona. But also we can use zinc crystals, the crystals of zinc. So zinc powder is used in excess to ensure that all the hydrogen ions in the acid react to form hydrogen gas. On evaporation, the filtrate is not allowed to dry up completely, so that the zinc sulfate formed does not lose its water of crystallization. That is what we call it, the water of crystallization. Water of crystallization ni kitu gani? Water of crystallization, kuna chumvi ambazo zinakuwa zina maji. Chumvi inakuwa na maji. Sasa yale maji ni ya muhimu. Kwa mfano, copper 2 sulfate ikiwa dry inakuwa white. Lakini ikiwa dry au jina nyingine kwa hiyo dry kwenye chemistry tunaita anhydrous. Anhydrous, that means it may lack water. It's anhydrous. Anhydrous copper 2 sulfate, it is white. While hydrated copper 2 sulfate, which is written as copper 2SO4 then 0.5H2O. This is the hydrated copper 2 sulfate. It looks blue in color. Now what we want to discuss here is about the water for hydration. These 5 molecules of water, they are called the water of crystallization. The water of crystallization. Kwa hiyo water of crystallization iko hapo. Na kilichopo hapo ni kwamba hii copper 2 ni metal Copper 2 hapo ni metal na haijayeyuka hapa, bado iko metal hivyo hivyo. I mean iko salt hivyo hivyo, haijayeyuka, lakini nakwenda water of crystallization. This is essential for the crystals to maintain their color and shape. Water of crystallization is essential for the crystals to maintain their color and shape. Unaona? Crystallization nini? Crystallization is the process of formation of solid crystals from homogeneous solution. Crystallization by definition, kiulizwa is the process of formation of solid crystals from a homogeneous solution. You see, the solution is evaporated to make it saturated with the solid up to a point where it cannot hold more water. Anyway, hivyo vingine tuachane navyo. Tuende kwenye njia ya pili ya kuprepare salt. Reaction of acids with alkali. Acids plus alkalis. We call this reaction as neutralization reaction. And we already discussed about neutralization reaction. Naona tulisha discuss neutralization reaction in detail kabisa, and hopeful we were together na tulielewana. We gave several examples of these reactions and the resulting compound from these reaction. For example, if we have sodium hydroxide, let's say, plus HCl, we get sodium chloride plus water. It's like this way. Number 3, the reaction of acids with insoluble bases. Acids and insoluble bases. Unaona, again you get salt and water. For example, is HCl with copper 2 oxide. The reaction between HCl and copper 2 oxide. Then you get salt, copper 2 chloride plus water. Copper 2 oxide is insoluble base. Insoluble base. The difference between this reaction number 3 and the reaction number 2 is that this is the reaction between acids and alkalis. Alkalis, they are soluble bases. And the final reaction for the preparation of salts is the reaction of acids. The final reaction is the reaction of acids and metal carbonates. So for example, HCl plus calcium carbonate. Remember I told you that the reaction of acid with the metal carbonate produces an additional product which is carbon dioxide. So you expect to get calcium chloride plus water, then additional product carbon dioxide must be there, an additional product. That's the way we can prepare the soluble salts in the laboratory. But also we have other reactions which were not mentioned earlier. The reaction of acids with the metal hydrogen carbonates. The way this reaction behaves, it is the same one. the reaction of carbonate ina behave. Alafu then acids by direct combination, preparation of salts, direct combination. For example, tunaweza combine iron solid tukacombine na 3 chlorine gas, tukaenda kupata 2 molecules of iron 3 chloride. Unaona, hiyo ni direct combination, unapitisha the chlorine vapor kwenye iron metal. Pia kuna no, that is okay. Kwa hizo ndo preparation za soluble salt. Preparation za soluble salt tuna prepare kwa njia hapo. Lakini pia kuna preparation of insoluble salts. Insoluble salts. Insoluble salt can be made by using any of the above methods. Unaona, instead they cannot be used by any of the, they cannot be prepared by any of the above methods. Instead they are precipitated by reacting solutions containing the correct ions. This method is called ionic preparation or double decomposition. Kiufupi, insoluble salts, they are prepared by precipitation reaction. Kama unakumbuka precipitation reaction ambayo tulidiscuss katika chemical equation, ndio inayotumika ku prepare the insoluble salts. Unaona, na ziko insoluble salts mbalimbali ambazo ukienda kusoma Oxford utazikuta. Tuishie hapa, tukutane kipindi kijacho.